Hello, Maima here from Goas Now Academy. I hope you all are doing good. Today we will study the chapter 11, which is electricity. This is very important chapter. You will study the flow of current, the circuit diagram and all. So deeply about the electricity we will study in this chapter. So firstly, electricity has an important place in the modern society. It is a controllable and a convenient form of energy for the variety of uses in the homes, schools, hospital, industries and so on. What constitute of electricity? How does in the flow of electric current? What are the factors that control or regulate the current through an electric circuit? So in this chapter, we shall attempt to answer such question. Also, we shall discuss the heating effect of electric current and its application, where we use the electricity, how actually electricity flows, how it works. These all basic things we'll study in this chapter, along with its application as well. Firstly, for electricity, current is essential. So, first topic will be electric current and a circuit. So, we are familiar with the air current and a water current, right? We know that the flowing water constitute water current in the reverse. Similarly, if the electric charge flows through a conductor, for example, through the metallic wire, we say that there is an electric current. Whenever any electric charge is flowing in any metallic wire, or through a conductor, then we can say that it is an electric current in the conductor. In a torch, we know that the cells battery are placed when placed in the proper order, provide a flow of charge of an electric current, but through the torch bulb to glow. We have also seen that the torch gives the light on when it's switched on. What does its switch do? So a switch makes a conducting link between the cell and the bulb. In the circuit diagram, we'll get to know where the cell, where the bulb. But in the torch, when you click on the, like when you switch on the torch, it will be again just current will flow just between the cell and the bulb. Okay, conducting link will be there between cell and bulb. A continuous and a closed path of an electric current is known as electrical circuit. There is a continuous and a closed path of an electric current. Okay, closed path in which the electric current is being flowing, then this is known as electric circuit. Now, if the circuit is broken anywhere, or the switch or the switch torch is turned off, okay, then the current start flowing on and the bulb does not glow. At that time, when we just switch off the button, then there will be no flow of current, and at that time bulb does not glow. How do we express the electric current? So electric current is expressed by the amount of charge flowing through a particular area of unit time. In other words, the rate of flow of electric charge. Electric charge here we have started, but now the rate of flow of electric charge in a circuit using a metallic wire, an electron constitute of the flow of charge. However, the electrons were not the time when the phenomena of electricity was first observed. So, electric current was considered to be the flow positive charge, and the direction of the flow positive charge was taken to be the direction of electric current. Wherever the positive charge is flowing, and that direction only electric current will flow. Now, conventionally, in electric circuit, the direction of electric current is taken as an opposite direction of the flow of electron, which will be the negative charge. We have started a positive charge, but what will be the negative charge? So, simply, when in an electric circuit, the direction of electric current is taken to an opposite direction, okay? Simply, when it will be in the opposite direction to the flow of electrons, then this will be considered as a negative charge. So, this is about the positive charge, negative charge, electric current and electric circuit. Now, mathematically, what we can say is, if the net charge is Q, always just keep in mind charge has been represented as a Q. So, here the net charge is Q. Flow across any cross section of the conductor in the time t, as we say that the in particular time interval when the flow of charges are there, and also the current is I through the cross section area, then I will be is equals to Q upon T, means current will be is equals to the net charge in the given time interval. So this is about the electric current, how mathematically we can express it. The SI unit of the electric charge is Coulomb, or we can represent it as a C, which is equivalent to the charge contained in the nearly, and its value will be 6 into 10 raised to the power 18 electrons. We know that electron forces a negative charge and which value will be 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. So the electric current is expressed by the unit which is known as ampere, or we can say A. So the electric current unit will be ampere and electric charge unit will be coulomb. We can represent it as a C. Okay. Now named after the French scientist and which is Andre Marie Ampere from 1775 to 1836. 1 ampere is constituted by the flow of 1 coulomb of the charge 1 second, which is we can say like 1A is equals to 1C upon 1S. Obviously the charge value, the unit and the time unit. Okay. So the small quantities of the current are expressed are milliampere. When any quantities of current is in the small way, then we can represent it as 1 milliampere, where 1 milliampere will be is equals to 10 raised to the power minus 3 ampere. Okay. Or in a microampere, 1 nu A is equals to 10 raised to the power minus 6 ampere. Just learn these values where 1 milliampere is equals to 10 raised to the power minus 3 ampere. Now an instrument called ammeter measures the electric current in a circuit. Instrument which is used to measure the electric current of a circuit, which is known as ammeter. It always connected in series in a circuit and through which the current is to be measured, and show the systematic diagram. A typical electric current comprising of the cell of an electric bulb and ammeter in the plug key. Note that the electric current flows in the circuit from positive terminal to the cell of negative terminal of the cell through the bulb or ammeter. You can see here a systematic diagram of an electric circuit where we can see a bulb key. This is the current ammeter A, and the battery is there. From plus to minus the current will flow in this direction. So this is a systematic diagram of an electric circuit comprising of cell, electric bulb, ammeter and a plug key. This is the key, ammeter, this is the bulb, and this is the battery. From positive terminal to negative, it is the current is being flowing there. So this is all about the current. This is all about the electric circuit, key, bulb, ammeter and all, and the units. We have one numerical over here, which is like a current is given to us, which is 0.5 ampere and is drawn to be the filament in a electric bulb in the 10 minutes. Okay, find the amount of electric charge that flows in the circuit. We have I, we have T. Which is in the 10 minutes, just convert into the second. So now, firstly, we know the equation I is equals to Q upon T, but as we don't have Q, so we'll just keep the Q one side and just substitute all the values which we have. So the value of Q or charge we get is 300 coulomb. This is how you can solve the numericals as well. Now, let's move ahead with another important topic, which is electric potential and potential difference. Okay, so what makes the electric charge to the flow? Fine, we have started the electric charge, but what makes actually electric charge in the flow? So let us consider the analogy of flow of water. So charges do not flow in a copper wire by themselves. Just as a water is a perfectly horizontal tube, does not flow. So if one end of the tube is connected to the tank of the water, then higher level such there is a pressure difference between the two ends of the tube, then water flows out of the other end of the tube. So this is the thing, example for the water. So for the flow of charge in a conducting metallic wire, the gravity of the course has no role to play. So the electron moves if there is any difference of electric pressure. When any pressure has been created, that's fine that the flow of a charge is there. Okay, but when any pressure has been applied, okay, electric pressure has been applied, then only there is a difference of electric pressure which is known as potential difference, and along with the conductor like the tube here is for the charges. So the difference of the potential may be produced by the battery consisting of a one or more electric cell. From where this potential will produce? It will be produced by the battery and consisting of one or more than one electric cells. So the chemical action within the coil generate the potential difference across the terminal of the cell if there is no current drawn from it. When the cell is connected to the conducting circuit, element of the potential difference set the charges in the motion conductor and produces an electric current. And so this is how electric current produces and how electric charges work. So in order to maintain the current in a given electric circuit, the cell has expanded its chemical energy stored in it. So we define the electric potential difference between the 2 points in an electrical circuit, carrying some current to as a work done by the move unit charge for the one point to another. It will be between 2 points. So the potential difference will be represented as V between the 2 points will equals to work done upon charge. So mathematically we can write B is equals to W upon Q. Now, the SI unit of electric potential is a volt. We can represent it as a V, named after the Alessandro Volta, 1745 to 1827. So, just keep in mind that the unit of this electric potential difference will be volt or B. Also, an Italian physicist then on the 1 volt is a potential difference between the 2 points, the carrying conductor. When the 1 joule of work is done, 1 coulomb from the point other, then 1 volt will be equals to work unit is joule and then 1 coulomb. So 1B equals to 1J C inverse. Okay. Now the potential difference measured by the means of an instrument which is known as voltmeter for current ammeter. Now for the potential difference it will be voltmeter. The voltmeter is always connected in the parallel across the point and between the potential difference to be measured. Now how much work done is to be the moving a charge is given to us, potential difference is given to us. So amount of charge is Q, the flow of the potential difference is V is equals to 12B. So thus the amount of work done moving the charge is W is equals to VQ, which is substitute the value, and here you will get the value of W, which will be 24 joule. Now the circuit diagram. Normally we have studied the circuit diagram, but we'll deeply study how how the component works, how we can represent the symbol and all. Okay. So another topic is the circuit diagram. We know that electric circuit, which is like we have shown in the figure, this is a circuit 11.1, comprised of the cell or a battery, plug key, electric components, and connecting wires. So it is often convenient to draw the systematic diagram in which the components and the circuit are represented by the symbols or conveniently used. Conventional symbols used to represent some of the most commonly used electric components are also given in this table. So let's move ahead. Symbols and some commonly used components in the circuit diagram. So firstly, an electric cell. How you can represent it is like this, plus and minus. A battery or a combination of cells. Battery is there, that's fine, but with the cells, then plus and cells are there and then minus. Okay. This is battery or a combination of cell. Now, plug or the key. Plug open, this one and closed, one dot will be there in the bracket. A wire joint like this, a wire crossing with the joining like this. So this is how the components and the symbols we can represent it. Electric bulb we can draw like this. Resistor would be this. Variable resistance or the rheostat like this. When the resistance applied in cell, then it will be represented as this. Ammeter A plus minus, voltmeter V plus minus. So this is how we can represent the different components in an electric circuit. Now, Ohm's law. Is there the relationship between the potential difference across the number and the current through it? We have studied current, we have studied charge, we have studied potential difference. But is there any relation? So that we'll have to explore it. Okay. So there is one activity. Let's read this activity first. So what we have to do first is set up the circuit as shown in the diagram. Okay. And consisting of the nichrome wire XY of the length 0.5 in the ammeter, voltmeter in the 4 cells 1.5 meter such each. Nichrome is an alloy nickel, chromium, manganese and the iron metal. So first use the one cell source in the circuit. Note of the reading ammeter I from the current and reading the voltmeter V. Potential difference across the nichrome is wire XY in the circuit. Tabulate them and the table given. So next connect two shells in the circuit and note that the respective reading of the ammeter, voltmeter, and then so this is completely the laboratory based. You'll have to just make the connection and note it down, and you'll have to note down the potential difference of across the nichrome, current through the nichrome wire, and this ratio between both of them. This is what the Ohm's law called. In this activity, you will find the approximate same value V and I as often in the each cases. So thus B and I is in the straight line as the same values you are getting. So the graph between B and A, V and I will be the same, or it will be as a straight line as passes through the origin of the graph. So thus B and I is the constant ratio. In 1827, the German physicist George Simon Ohm, 1787 to 1854, found out the relation between the current I and showing the metallic wire difference along across the terminal and the difference to potential difference V across the end of the given metallic wire. An electric circuit is directly proportional to the flow through it, and it is provided the temperature remains the same. Okay, and this is called Ohm's law. The relationship which is between the potential difference and the current I means V is directly proportional to the I. V upon I is equals to constant, and here the constant like R will be work as a constant. So V is equals to IR. This is what the Ohm's law is. So in equation 11.4, R is the constant for the given metallic wire at a given temperature. Also the temperature, and this is called a resistance. Okay, R is the resistance over here. It is a property of a conductor to resist the flow of charges through it, and it SI unit is ohm, represented as a Greek letter omega, we can say. And according to the Ohm's law, R will be equals to V upon I. If the potential difference across the two end wire 1 volt and current will be 1 ampere, then the resistance R and of the conductor, that 1 omega is equals to 1 ohm, 1 volt upon 1 ampere. So also from the equation I is equals to V upon R. So it is obvious from the 11.7 equation that the current through resistor is inversely proportional to the resistance. If the resistance is doubled, the current gets halved. So in many practical cases, it is necessary to increase or decrease the current of an electric circuit. So the component used to regulate the current which without changing the voltage, which is called a variable resistance. In an electric circuit, a device is called a rheostat, which is just used to controlling the current and all. So is often used to change the resistance in the circuit. We will now study electrical resistance in the conductor with the help of following activity. We got to know one new word, which is resistance, but I'll have to deeply study what actually it is. So just take the nichrome wire, torch bulb, and the 10-volt watt bulb of the meter, 0 to 5 range, and a plug key, some connecting wire. Set up the circuit diagram in the found 4 dry cells, 1.5 volt, and each of the series with the ammeter and leaving the gap of XY. It's shown like this. Okay. So now complete the circuit connecting the nichrome wire of the gap XY of the key and the down ammeter reading. Take out the key of the plug. Okay, and always take out the key from the plug or measuring the current through this. We have 10-volt bulb, torch bulb, or the nichrome wire. Now replace the nichrome wire with the torch. One by one, we'll have to connect these. Okay, and through the measuring reading ammeter. Now it repeat the above step with the 10-volt bulb, but bulb with a gap of XY. Now, are the ammeter readings different from the different components connected with the XY? What is the above observation you have indicated? You'll have to indicate. Okay, from this activity, in this activity, we will observe that the current is different for the different components. Okay, and why it is different? So, certain components offer an easy path follow or for the flow of the electric file. The others resist the flow. We know that the motion of the electrons in an electrical circuit constitute of electric current. So the electron, however, they are not completely free to move within the conductor. They restrained by the attraction of the atom which they move. So thus the motion of electron through a conductor is retarded by its resistance. A component or the given size of that offers a low resistance to the good conductor. A conductor that having appreciable resistance is called a resistor. A component of identical size that offers the higher resistance of the poor conductor insulator, same size with the higher resistance. So this is how the resistance works. With the help of activity, we'll get to know this. Okay. Now the factor on which resistance of a conductor depends. Again with the activity we'll see this. A complete electric circuit. We have one circuit of a cell, ammeter is there, nichrome wire is there, length is L. Okay, and the plug is also being connected here. So what you have to do is now plug the key and note the current of the ammeter. When you plug the key, just note the ammeter reading. Now replace the nichrome wire by nichrome wire of the same thickness but the twice of the length. Okay, here this like this. Now note the ammeter reading again. Now you replace the wire with the thicker nichrome wire in the same length L. Now marked 3, like first this, second this, and third one is this. So a thicker higher cross section, and again note down the current flow. Now instead of taking nichrome wire, connect the copper wire in the fourth, which one marked as a 4. Okay, in the circuit, and let the wire be the same length and the same area of cross section that the first nichrome wire marked in the 1. So note the value of the current. Notice that the difference of the current in all the cases. These 4 cases are there, and you will notice that there is a difference in all the 4 cases. The question will be, does the current depends on the length of conductor? Does it depends on the area of cross section? What you have observed. So it has been observed that the ammeter reading decreases to 1 half when the length of the wire is doubled. Means it is affecting. The ammeter reading is increased when it is thicker and the wire is in the same material. Wire is same material, that's fine, but ammeter reading will increase when it is thicker Okay, and the same length is used in the circuit. A change in ammeter reading is observed when the wire is different material of the same length and the same area cross section is used. So when you apply the Ohm's law, we observe that the resistance of the conductor depends on depends on its length, second on its area of cross section, and on the nature of material as well. From this activity, we'll just observe the three different material. It has been different. Okay, for the length, with respect to length, with respect to area of cross section, with respect to the nature of material. So precise the measurement have shown the resistance of the uniform metallic conductor is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the area of cross section A. It means R is directly proportional to L, but R is inversely proportional to 1 upon A. A is the area of cross section, L is the length. So when you combine these equation, you get R is equals to, like in R is directly proportional to L upon A. So R will be equals to rho L upon A, where this rho is the constant of proportionality. And this is what electrical resistivity. This is called as electrical resistivity of material of conductor. So the SI unit of the resistivity is omega m, and its characteristic property of a material, the metal and alloys have a very low resistivity, and also the range is just between 10 raised to the power minus 8 omega meter to 10 raised to the power minus 6 omega meter, and they are a good conductor of electricity. So insulators like rubber and a glass have a resistivity to order just from 10 raised to the power 12 to 10 raised to the power 17 omega meter. Both the resistance and the resistivity of a material vary with the temperature. So this is about the resistance. Okay, now we'll have one table. Yielded rebels, the resistivity of alloy is generally higher than its constituent metal. Also, alloy do not oxidize, burn readily at a high temperature. For this reason, they are commonly used to the electrical heating uh, devices like an electron, iron, toaster, etc. Tungsten is used to almost exclusively filament of the electric world, whereas the copper and aluminum are generally used to the electrical transmission lines. Now, there is one table representing the resistivity of a different materials like conductor, alloys, and the insulators. So, we have a conductor like silver. Its resistivity is been 1.60 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. Copper 1.62 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. Aluminium which is 2.63 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. Tungsten which is 5.20 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. Nickel, different iron, chromium, mercury, manganese. You can run these resistivity values, exact values actually they are. Manganese and alloys are also there, that constantum alloy of Cu and nickel, manganese which is alloy Cu and nickel, nichrome alloy of nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. Then insulators values are also there, which is glass, hard rubber, ebonite, diamond, or the paper dye. Okay, so this is the electrical resistivity table, which is like representing the different resistivity of different materials. Okay. Now, one numerical is that how much current will an electric bulb drawn from the 220 volt source resistance is filament given to us 1200 omega. Also, second is how much the current will the electric heater coil draw in the 220 volt source if the resistance of the heater oil is 100 omega. So, see, we values are given, B is equals to 220 and another R is 1200 omega. Okay. So, well, from the equation we have deducted, I will be equals to 220 means this V upon uh, R which is 1200. So here we get the value of current which is equals to 0.18 ampere. Now second one is that how much current will be electric heater coiled on from 220 volt. So it's given that V is equals to 220 and R is equals to 100. Now we have the current I is equals to 220 which is upon 100. We just substitute the value and we get another value of I which is 2.2 ampere. Okay. So note the difference of the current drawn from the electric and the electric heater from the 220 volt source. So this is how we have solved it with the help of example. Now another example is that the potential difference between the terminal of an electrical heater is 60 volt. Okay, fine. When it drawn, the current of ampere is given, which is 4 ampere. Also, from the source, what current will be the heater draw? Here we have like potential difference, we have current we have. But what current will the heater draw if the potential difference is increased by the 120? Okay. Now, For this one condition, current is given, but for another condition, we have potential difference, and what we have to find is the value of current when this particular value potential difference is increased. So we are given with the potential difference, first is 60 and another is 4A. That's fine. So here we'll calculate the value of R, and here we get 15 omega. Okay. Now with the help of Ohm's law only, we get the value of resistance, which is 15 omega. Now, and the potential difference is increased to 120 volt as according to the question or the situation. At that time, we'll have to find the current. So, a current I is equals to V upon R. So, we have value of V and then R. As we have already calculated the value of R, so we'll use it here. So, it will be V upon R is equals to 120 upon it's 15. Then we get here 8 ampere. So, at that time, the current value will be 8 ampere when the potential difference is increased by the 120 volt. Okay, now the second is, let's move with the another one. A resistance of the metal wire length is 1 meter and 26 omega at the 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, fine. If the diameter of the wire is 0.3 meter and 3 mm, what will be the resistivity of the metal, the temperature using the table, predict the material of the wire. Okay, so firstly, we are given the resistance. We have a resistance R of the wire, which is 26 omega, and the diameter is also given in the mm. Just convert the value into the meter, and length is also given of the wire, which is 1 meter. So therefore the resistivity of the metallic wire is rho is equals to Ra upon L. So Ra is the like area, we can say, which is 5d square upon 4L. So just substitute rho is substitution of the values, we will get rho is equals to 1.84 into 10 raised to the power minus 6. So the resistivity of the metal at 20 degrees Celsius will be 1.84 into 10 raised to the power minus 6. Okay, so here we have calculated the resistivity. Now let's move ahead with another one. Like, see, a wire is a wire of a given material having the length L. We have length L and area of cross section is A. Okay, and has it's having a resistance of 4 omega. What would be the resistance of another wire? So here what we have to find is thus the resistance of another wire, same material, and have a length of 1 upon 2, L upon 2, and area of cross section is 2A. So firstly, for the first wire, we'll do it. It will be R1 is equals to rho L upon A. So we get 4 omega. That's fine. Okay, and now for the second wire, R2 is equals to rho L by 2. Okay, as the length is L by 2, so we'll keep it as a L by 2 only. And the area of cross section is 2A, so it will be 2A only. It's equals to 1 upon 4. Then rho A is equals to L upon A. Okay, so it will be 1 upon 4. Also, R2 is equals to 1 upon 4 of R1. So R2 will be is equals to 1 omega. The resistance of the new wire will be 1 omega. So this is the value of resistance for the new wire. Now another topic is the resistance of the system of a resistor. Okay, we have studied the resistance and all, but now resistance of a system of resistor. What actually the system is there between there in the resistors. Okay, so in preceding section we learned about the simple electric circuit. Now we have noticed that the current through a conductor depends on the resistance. We have learned the term resistance, what actually it works, how it actually works, but for the simple circuit. Okay, now the current through the conductor depends on the resistance and the potential difference, which is R and V, also across the ends. So in various electrical gadgets, we often use the resistors in the various combinations. Okay, so for the simple circuit we have studied, but now we'll see it with the help of combination, like series combination, parallel combination. So use of resistors, how we can connect it. So these all things we'll study here. Now we know that there for intent to see how the Ohm's law can be applied in the combination of resistors. Okay, we have studied Ohm's law for the simple circuit. Now we'll have to check that how we can apply this particular Ohm's law in the combination of resistors. Firstly, there are two of the joining resistors together. Okay, like in this diagram you can see, and the circuit three resistors we have R1, R2 and R3. It's not about the one resistor, three resistors have been connected here and are joined from end to end. Okay, and here the resistors are said to be the series as they are connected in this way, so it can be said to as a series combination. So shows the combination of resistor. This one another diagram is there, which are the three resistor you can see connected, but they are in the parallel way. Although they are close in the between X to Y, but see how they are like arranged. They are arranged in a parallel series. So these resistors are said to be the connected in a parallel. So this is what we were saying, that how resistors can be connected when it's in a combination. This particular thing is the series combination, and this particular thing is known as a parallel combination. Also, we'll study more about deeply about this series and parallel combination. When R is connected in a closed circuit, that's fine, but see how they are connected. So this is a series combination. All the batteries there, keys there, ammeters there, current I is wind flowing, voltmeter is also there, as we know that according to the Ohm's law, both a resistor and this resistors and resistors and as well as potential difference is playing role. So this is how it has been shown in the diagram as well. Here is again R1, R2 in a continuous manner they have been arranged. So it is a series combination. Ammeter is there, voltmeter is there, current I is flowing, K is there, open or closed key after terminate, and the battery is also there. So this is all about the resistance of a system of resistor. In the next part, we will study about the series combination, parallel combination more deeply. So for now, if you still have any doubts or you want a teacher to guide you personally, you can join our one-to-one live tutoring at Guasna Academy. We will help you to learn every concept with the ease. Thanks for watching. Just stay tuned for the part 2 of this chapter only. Thank you very much.